Hello everyone and welcome to our live watch along for Alfreton Town against Rushall Olympic in the National League North on this lovely sunny but a bit windy today. Alfreton come into this match having recently secured their Conference North status for another season, and it'll be Alfreton's 10th consecutive year at the level, having endured something of a relegation scare over the last few months, dropping as low as 18th in the table, having previously challenged for the playoff positions. Looking at today's visitors, Rushall Olympic travel to the Impact today in a desperate bid to keep their survival ambitions alive. The Picks find themselves 9 points adrift with 5 games to go, and they cannot be mathematically relegated today, but depending on results elsewhere, it could be a case of now or never for the away side. Alfreton sit on 50 points, 17th in the table, having only suffered 1 defeat in the last 5, but only the 1 victory in that run as well, which came against Leamington. Rushall themselves come into this one following an impressive victory over South Shields. They couldn't reach any higher than 22nd in the league, and 21st place Needham Market are within touching distance, just 2 points ahead of Rushall, who have a game in hand. And the head-to-head record in the National League North between Alfreton and Rushall looks good for the Reds. 4 matches, 3 wins, 1 draw and 0 defeats. This fixture last season took place on Easter Monday. Alfreton came out on top with a 1-0 win thanks to a Jordan Thewlish goal, and a win today could take Alfreton up to 15th in the table. The reverse fixture this season ended in a 3-1 win for Alfreton as well, with 2 late goals coming from Jake Day and Lewis Salmon. So on paper, the record is a positive one from an Alfreton perspective, so could be something that continues today. Matty, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, it's going to be a scrappy game by all means, because it's so windy today. That ball's going to get hung up in the air every time it goes. I've been watching some of the lads try and hit the crossbar from the halfway line, and the wind is just carrying the ball all over. Passes have been getting sprayed everywhere. So this is by, no means going to be straightforward. There's going to be factors today. I think, the foot's going to be off the gas slightly. We've got nothing to play for the rest of the season. We are playing because other teams need to play their games, and we need to play our games. We can't get anything from this season, so we are more or less playing for the spirit of the sport. But I don't think that will be on Billy Heath's mind at all, that this doesn't matter. He'll want to, string together a good run before the end of the season, try and carry some momentum into the next, and as well just kind of get our mojo back. We've had 2 clean sheets on the bounce, a win, 4 points from 6, which I'm starting it now. I'm starting a new era from our old kind of like 59 points from 50 gimmick. We're going to 4 points from 6.
There we go.
Going into the day, looking to make it 7 from a possible 9. But it's going to be interesting to see whether we come out with a point to prove, or we come out kind of a bit more relaxed. But maybe that's what we needed. Maybe we need to play a bit more relaxed. Maybe we need the lads to kind of not have it in their head that there's always something to play for. Maybe they can go out there today, express themselves, and it all kind of come together once again. Yeah,
well, as you mentioned, the kind of pressure is a little bit now gone for Alfreton, as you say. Safety secured. Nothing really to play for. Rushall obviously do have that survival bid to play for, but you mentioned that Billy Heath may not be thinking, may not be going into the game with the viewpoint that it doesn't really matter, and I think that's shown in his team selection. We've still gone for what looks to be a very strong side, just the one change to the starting 11 that we will run you through when the teams come out of the tunnel, but we'll drop that in now as Jed Abbey drops to the bench in place of Lewis Salmon in the squad, and also a first kind of induction for one of the new Canadian arrivals on the bench. Richard Lapointe is named in the squad for the first time, so that'll be interesting to see if he makes his debut today. One of the couple of Canadians that joined a couple of weeks ago now, and the first time either of them have been named in that 16-man squad for the Reds. But around 5 minutes to go until kick-off, and we'll run you through the teams as they exit the tunnel. They look ready in the tunnel already, so we might be set for a slightly earlier introduction to the squads than we're used to, but that's fine. It's a nice sunny day. The wind's dying down a little bit at the moment, because I think during that intro you could probably hear it through our microphones and through the camera shaking a little bit, that the wind was very harsh, but fingers crossed that eases up a little bit for the sake of our audio quality. Maybe not for the game. It could always spice things up a little bit, but only time will tell, as the referee and his assistant now standing outside of the tunnel here at the Impact. We're seeing Jake Day at the front of that tunnel. Whether Alfreton are just ready very early or not. George Cantrell prepared to lead out the Reds whenever the command is given. The only people that were left on the pitch are a couple of Rushall players that you'd imagine are going to be on the bench there, out there still warming up, but they make their way off of the pitch now as the referee takes to the field with the ball in his arms. And Alfreton Town, the first side to step onto the Impact Arena turf this afternoon. And with that, we will run you through both of the sides, starting with the hosts, Alfreton, in their usual all-red home strip. In between the sticks is George Sykes Kenworthy. The back four, Josh Claxton, making his 250th appearance for the Reds today on the right-hand side of the defence. Nathan Newell on the opposite side with Max Hunt and David Solademi, the two centre halves. A midfield three with Adam Lund at the base, captain George Cantrell and Owen German alongside him. And on the flanks, Sam Osborne and, as we mentioned, Lewis Salmon, who comes in for Jed Abbey on either wing, with Jake Day through the middle. And the five-man bench, number 6, Dwayne Wiley, number 10, Liam Waldock, number 14, Jed Abbey, number 31, Richard Lapointe, and number 33, Luke Mattison.
Yeah, and for our visitors this afternoon, they start with number 1, Scott Maloney, number 2, Callum King-Harms, number 3, Jesse Bavananga. Butchered that.
Yeah, good luck.
4, Jack Thomas, 6, and captain Nathan Cameron. 8, Liam McAlinden. 9, Austin Samuels. 12, Roddy McGlinchey. 7, Sebastian Thompson. 17, Alexander Fletcher. And 18, Theo Williams. And on the bench is 5, Joseph Hull. 11, Danny King. 15, Aaron Ford. 16, Lewis Hall. And 19, Luke Ben Bow.
There we go. Those are your sides for the match today. As we still are 3 minutes to 3, we might be on for an early start here.
I think we'll go just back to that. It's number 3, Jesse Vanganga.
Yes, just
but
had to get
I didn't read it before because we didn't get the team sheet till about 5 minutes before we went live.
Issues with the printer, reportedly, as Bill fed back to us. But nonetheless, we have the team sheets just in the nick of time.
I looked down at it and I went, Vavananga. There's just so many A's and G's and N's, and I was like, yeah, I'm not getting that. Once again as well, always stick around during half-time. We've got a quiz today, a new format of quiz as well.
Ooh.
That we've not had yet.
I've not been briefed on this. So.
No, as per Big Q's request, he wanted to hire a lower quiz.
Okay.
So that's what we've got this afternoon for the half-time break. And another thing I wanted to touch on is I'm really, really happy because Owen German's kept his place in the starting 11 following the return of George Cantrell after his 3-match suspension, because Owen German came in to kind of fill the hole of George Cantrell. I'm sure Billy Heath wasn't initially happy about it, but we've definitely kind of discovered a bit of a diamond in the rough with the man on loan from Altrincham, because he's been absolutely fantastic, to be honest, since he's come in as well. So I'm really pleased he's kept his space. He's gone into that midfield 3. He's a really forward-thinking midfielder, and I'm happy to see he's kept his place, because I was kind of under the initial impression that when Cantrell was back, he'd probably drop to the bench. He's kept it. I'm excited to see how he does in this midfield 3 with Lundy and Cantrell now. Well,
we'll get to see that midfield 3 in action very, very shortly as the referee has a quick check with both sets of captains, and Alfreton Town prepared to get things underway, shooting from right to left as we see it in this first half. Lewis Salmon stood over the kickoff. I think the referee is now just kind of waiting because I think he's realised he's a little bit too early, but Alfreton Town set to get things underway. The referee, I'm kind of waiting for him to do the kind of double arm check with both goalkeepers before we get things started today, but both teams just sort of waiting around Alfreton in formation with the majority of players on the left-hand side of the pitch ready to hit that channel and go direct, as we see so often off of kickoff. Referee double checks his watch again, and I think we might be getting underway very shortly. He's just still looking at his watch.
He's going to make us wait.
Going to make us wait.
Bang on.
There we go. As the clock strikes 3 o'clock, the referee blows his whistle and we get things underway. Alfreton Town immediately go back to Max Hunt, who looks to go down the line where Jake Day waits. Rushall.
Oh, nearly early.
Clear that ball away, and it's not far away from the gantry, but it gives Adam Lund a chance to warm up that long throw for the first time
we nearly got an early one there. This is the last chance today.
It is, yeah.
The one time it came up here, we bottled it because it was raining. And we commentated down from the press area.
Well, Adam Lund does prepare this throw in from the left-hand side, about 30 yards from the byline, and it goes towards Hunt at the front post, flicked on by a Rushall player on the goalkeeper, doesn't get there. The ball does end up in the back of the net, but Lewis Salmon jumped in front of Scott Maloney, and the referee judges that Salmon used a little bit too much of his body there to get it beyond Maloney.
Who has got a drum?
Despite the ball ending up in the net, things remain 0-0 here. I think that's a pretty fair decision from the referee as we see it.
Yeah, it's definitely a foul. The keeper gets priority in those kind of challenges, and he's, you know, Salmon's gone up for that, and he's kind of thrown his body into the goalkeeper, knocked him off balance, and that's ultimately why the ball's ended up in the back of the net. I don't think that happens without the kind of nudge from Salmon.
Yeah, well, Maloney does take that goal kick against the wind as it reaches the halfway line. Adam Lund heads it back the way it came into that channel for Sam Osborne to run onto, but the aforementioned wind picks it up and runs the ball out of play for a Rushall throw. Now the ball at the back with Cameron, looks to find the midfielder, but Owen German intercepts it, and you can see the wind picking up that cross. He looks to switch it to Lewis Salmon, but Alfreton still in possession as the ball drops back to Hunt. Inside his own half, looks to clip it down the line for Salmon, cleared away by McAlinden. Straight through to George Sykes-Kenworthy, his first touch of the ball this afternoon. Here is Hunt. Right-hand side of his own half, looks to go diagonal across towards Day. Lets that one run beyond him. It's picked up by the Rushall back line, back to Maloney and cleared upfield. Pressure from Adam Lund, wins it back for Alfreton momentarily though, and Rushall look to break again. Newell has to step in well, firm in the challenge. Looks to slot Salmon in again down the right-hand side with his weak foot, but Claxton picks it up, keeps the chance alive, goes back to Salmon on the flank. In the wide area, looks to get the cross in, sees it blocked, straight out for a throw-in about 5 yards from the corner flag on that right-hand side, so a chance for one of the more flat-driven throws from Adam Lund. We've had a comment there about the Canadian on the bench. If he does come on, we are to call him Richie, because that's what everybody's been calling him since he's 3 years old. And he is on the bench today, the number 31. Adam Lund looks to launch this throw into the area from the right-hand side towards the goalkeeper. Maloney gets something on it, it's dropped to Solademi. Recycles it back to Adam Lund. Cross from the right-hand side again, looks for Osborne. Doesn't quite meet it though, and it bounces out towards the left-hand side. Kept in play just about by Max Hunt. Crossed back into the area and eventually into the gloves of Scott Maloney.
Worth mentioning, David Solademi scored in midweek.
He did, just not for Alfreton. Scored in the Baller League, you may have seen. A clip of that going semi-viral from an Alfreton standpoint. Scored a nice little goal in off the post. Adam Lund asking the referee why he's disallowed that goal. I think we know the answer. I think he's just trying to make it seem as if it's a more of a unjust decision the referee has in his mind. But Adam Lund prepares this throw-in from near the halfway line, looks to launch it into the area once again. Headed away at the front post by Rushall and turned further clear. Still alive with Alfreton though, it's German. Dropped back to Newell, looks to clip it forward first time. Away by the captain Cameron.
So if there was ever a day the ball was going to come up here though, it would be a day the wind is blowing towards us.
It is actually, yeah.
The ball, it is destined.
And Austin Samuels looked to turn that ball away and launch Rushall on the break, but his long ball goes straight out for a throw-in, and then he almost actually stumbles over the referee who stopped to tie his shoelace. The ball comes back forward from an Adam Lund throw on the left-hand side, headed over the goal line. Both teams contest the decision, and it will go the way of the Reds, out for a corner, the first one of this afternoon. Sam Osborne over on that left-hand side to take it. It'll be the in-swinging right foot from Osborne, unless he opts to sort of float it towards the back post or drill it to the edge like we've seen a couple of times in recent weeks. Alfreton Town send up Solademi and Hunt from the back. Adam Lund and Owen German wait on the edge of the box. Jake Day's in the middle as well. Lewis Salmon stands on the goalkeeper. Two arms in the air from Osborne, and it comes towards the back post, floated over the heads of everybody and forced to be kept in play by Adam Lund on the far side. Tries to lay it back for German, intercepted by Rushall as Roddy McGlinchey gets something on it but pokes it out for nothing more than a throw-in. So Adam Lund makes his way over towards the right-hand side, just ahead of the home dugout, around 30 yards from the byline, launches it into the box once again towards Hunt, bounces in the area, brought down by Day, Thinks about getting the shot away, but lays it back out to Lund on the right-hand side of the box. Crossed into the area once more. Headed away by Rushall. Only as far as Cantrell, who gets the ball stuck under his feet a little bit and then looks to try a little reverse pass back down the line, but Adam Lund was not making that run for him. Straight out for a goal kick in the end.
A little bit too clever there from Cantrell. He could have just played to the feet of Adam Lund. He's trying to kind of reverse it through a gap, and Lundy wasn't making that run. He's never going to get there.
Maloney will have the opportunity to send the ball back forward, kind of against the wind as it blows kind of towards us. So we'll see if it picks up the ball a little bit with the...
I'm getting ready. Get out of the way.
Ball.
Out of the way. It's coming right on his chest. First touch is going to be brilliant.
We'll see as Maloney takes his time.
I'm not actually injured either.
Man in a blue strip today. Eventually does take the goal kick. Seems to have battled the wind pretty well, but headed forward by Adam Lund. Looking for Jake Day as it drops into the midfield. Rushall trying to get something on that. And eventually they do. Into the feet of Fletcher. Looks to carry it away from German. Pokes it out to the left-hand side where Claxton tries his best to make an interception. And eventually the ball bounces out for a Rushall throw on that left-hand side, just beyond the halfway line in front of the away bench. First time Rushall have really got into the Alfreton half here. And rather than getting a new ball from the fourth official, we've seen the Rushall man, Austin Samuels, run all the way to the corner flag just to retrieve that ball. So we are now back underway eventually from that throw-in. Rushall looking to find a way inside beyond Alfreton and a pass through to Samuels. The Alfreton players want offside. The linesman doesn't give it. Samuels up against Solidemi. And Solidemi blocks that cross immediately. Straight out for a Rushall corner. So not wasting any time getting up the pitch off the back of the Alfreton corner. Rushall now have one of their own on that left-hand side from their perspective. It's the number 7, Sebastian Thompson, standing over it, praying for a right-footed delivery. Rushall loading the box. Short option is provided, but the corner comes in towards the back post towards Cameron, and the referee points to the spot. The Rushall Olympic captain, Nathan Cameron, made that run around towards the back post, marked by Solidemi, and the referee thinks that Solidemi used a little too much of his hands there. Cameron tumbled to the ground, and the referee, not too much hesitation, blew his whistle and pointed to the spot. So Rushall, with their first sort of foray into the Alfreton half, have themselves a penalty off the back of that corner, and it's the number 9, Austin Samuels, who's standing over it, places the ball on the spot. And a chance for the visitors to take an early lead here in the game that could see them keep their survival ambitions alive, could they come out with the right result. Samuels, it's going to be a right-footed penalty. Sykes Kenworthy does his best to put him off with a few gestures. He now makes his way back to the goal line. The referee assumes position, blows his whistle. A deep breath from Samuels, a little stutter. Steps up, right-footed, and just about squeezes it in beyond the glove of George Sykes Kenworthy, who guesses the right way. Samuels' shot towards the bottom left of the goal wasn't struck with too much conviction. I think he was hoping he could send the goalkeeper the wrong way. Sykes Kenworthy gets a hefty touch on it, but it creeps beneath him, bounces down into the ground, and then nestles in the back of the net. But Rushall Olympic have an early lead here on 9 minutes. The visitors with the advantage.
Yeah, it's one of them where I don't think Solidemi has too much to complain about. His hands are all over him. He's doing way too much physically. He brings his man down, and the referee had a great view of it. No hesitation either, blew his whistle, pointing straight to the spot, and I think Solidemi didn't really give much of a fight to the referee on that decision. You'll just be hoping Dave isn't watching.
No complaints really. I think that's kind of always a telling sign when a decision is given from the referee. The Alfreton players didn't seem to surround the referee with complaints or look to dispute the decision. They just kind of accepted it and walked back towards the edge of the box to allow the penalty to be taken. And it's as simple as that. Alfreton Town now find themselves behind in a game where Rushall haven't seen too much of the ball, but I suppose that's the beauty of football. You don't need much of it as long as you
might have something
count when you have it.
Might have something to do with the fact as well we've got nothing to play for, rather than
I'd imagine so.
Cold crowd and the ref, you know, get yourself a booking for a fine or something when you've got nothing to play for. I imagine A couple of them have just thought, it doesn't matter kind of thing.
Yeah, possibly. Well, off the back of that kick-off, Alfreton looked to take the direct route, and Jake Day just to have shoved Rushall defender Cameron. And it will be a free kick for Rushall deep inside their own half. Maloney looks to go long towards Samuels, headed away by Lund. Further cleared by Hunt, looking for Day. And the header eventually works its way to Callum King-Harms. The right back looks to clip it in behind for Samuels. It's a great ball. Samuels is going to get there, but he is offside. That's why the ball looks so good.
Yeah, it looked like he was
raised.
away for a moment, didn't he?
I know, he kind of ran onto it from alongside Solidemi, so it must have been marginal, but the linesman's flag is raised against the goal scorer Samuels. Alfreton will have a free kick just outside the box for Sykes Kenworthy to take, who really unlucky not to stop that penalty. He's guessed right, but at full stretch, it's kind of, you can probably talk us through that a little bit as a goalkeeper. He's got a big glove on it.
Yeah, well, as a goalkeeper, I'm always watching the attacker's shoulder when in the run-up to a penalty. If their kind of body language is open, it's most likely they're going like the side foot, you know, to their strong kind of side. If their shoulder's a bit more hunched over, it means they're going for power, you know, kind of down the middle or across goal. That's how, but some players now obviously disguise that really well, but that is the kind of one big tell you'll get.
Two big appeals for handball from an Alfreton perspective as Jake Day looked to close down a ball inside the area. Linesman and referee not interested though. Nothing more than a corner given the initial one as Nathan Cameron jumped in to try and clear it. His arm was raised, but it didn't look to be unnatural. It was more sort of a ball to hand situation. But the second one, I've seen those given. And the Alfreton players, as you mentioned just before, in the reverse kind of decision, weren't too bothered about the referee not awarding the decision in their favour. But on that occasion, much more of a different reaction from the Reds, in disbelief that the referee hasn't given a penalty there, but it will be a corner for Sam Osborne to take. Two arms in the air once again, delivered, floated towards the back post, picked up by that wind, but cleared away, drops towards the edge of the box for Cantrill. Recycles back out to Osborne. Takes the touch right by the byline, thinks about the cross, eventually drops it back to Lundy, who's got himself a bit of space to find the delivery. Right-footed in towards the goalkeeper, and Maloney gets up well to claim. Gets a safe pair of hands on that and collapses to the ground inside the area, so an end to that attack for Alfreton. But yeah, Alfreton feeling a little bit aggrieved there that the official hasn't pointed to the spot. So two early penalty decisions, one being awarded, one being ignored. And that is the tale of the match so far, as Rushall look to find some territory in the attacking third. It's McGlinchey. Drops it out to the wing, wants it back. Nathan Newell comes across, uses his body to try and win the ball back, and eventually Osborne makes an interception, and his clearance is actually a cross into the area. Bounces not once but twice. Alfreton really struggling to deal with the loose ball, and eventually drops to Samuels in the area. His volleyed effort is well over the bar. But it looked like someone was just kind of lacking that person to take charge in the box when that ball bounced the first time. And Alfreton happy to see that ball go over the crossbar, obviously, but perhaps just a little frustrated with how they dealt with that ball in their own defensive third.
It's been a shaky start.
It's a good way to put it. Wouldn't disagree with that. I don't think there are too many that would. Sykes Kenworthy stands over this goal kick, sends it long up towards Jake Day through the centre of the park, does get the head on it. Drops to Cantrill, who brings it down well, carries the ball across to the right flank. Eventually opts to play into Salmon in the area. He feels that he's pushed. Referee disagrees again. And Rushall get the free kick as Lewis Salmon, his kind of body on the floor, tripped up the Rushall defender. Earns them the free kick, but another appeal for a penalty for Alfreton. That one, though, looked a little more soft. Salmon seemed kind of happy to go down.
Yeah, he was looking for it.
Once he got the ball under his control.
Yeah, Salmon absolutely looking for that. He went running into the space. He was stretching a little bit too far. He knew his touch wasn't going to be able to, you know, take the ball where he wanted to go. He was more or less just trying to get something on it so they didn't get a free clearance. He felt the hands in his back and he threw himself to the ground. It was a smart decision. If he'd have got it, we'd be hailing him right now, but the referee wiser to it.
Well, it felt like it was one of those where if it happens outside the area, you probably see it given as a free kick if it's a defender running back to his own line. But once it's in the box, there's that kind of footballing belief that it has to be more of a foul for it to be a penalty. And I think that's what we've seen in play there as Rushall have a player down on the left-hand side. I think it's Sebastian Thompson that's hit the deck off the back of that ball sent forward by the Rushall goalkeeper. The referee just making us wait here. The physio is on hand for Rushall, but Thompson back to his feet relatively quickly, and I think quickly enough to avoid having to go off for treatment, and it will be no more than an Alfreton Town throw on that right-hand side inside their own half. Claxton with the ball in his hands, prepared to send it down the line, and that's where it will go, towards Jake Day. Won by Rushall, but into the midfield where Adam Lund sends it back forwards. Eventually drops back to Nathan Newell inside the Alfreton half, tries to hook it round the corner for Osborne, who'd already made the run. So Rushall pinch it back. Gone all the way back to Maloney, tries to send that one clear. Cantrell makes the immediate interception to send it back forward, but no one there to challenge the goalkeeper Scott Maloney, who takes his time before picking the ball up.
Just had a thought.
Go on.
Jake Day obviously was offside there as the ball come. Why do players, when they're obviously offside and like they know they can't go for the ball, do they put their hands up in the air like the police have got guns pointed at them? And like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. Just letting it run. You know what I mean? Like, just don't touch it.
Well, I suppose, I mean, you've seen these days where the decision kind of can still be given for a player, even if they don't touch the ball, if they're still interfering with it, if they, you know, if they shield it with their body or something. I guess it's just kind of an indication to the linesman. Don't raise your flag into the referee. Don't blow your whistle. I'm not going to get involved. But in that scenario, Jake Day, kind of the only player that would have been able to get onto it and was about 10 yards offside. So Rushall send the ball forward themselves, and it bounces out for an Alfreton throw on the left-hand side, nearing the halfway line as Adam Lund chucks it down the line towards Day, finds Owen German, tries to poke it out over to the left back, and the referee waits for the linesman's confirmation before that decision, gives it to Rushall. And I think there's going to be a card here for Owen German. He's talked himself into an early booking. We didn't hear the words, but I did hear Rushall midfielder McGlinchey immediately tell the referee, you can't let him talk to you like that. And the referee agrees, immediately blew his whistle and dished out the yellow card for Owen German after not getting the decision their way.
I tried that yesterday, it didn't work.
Well, the ball down the line for Rushall, kind of beneath the gantry to the point where we can't see it. Alfreton players want a foul throw, and judging by the lack of movement, I think Rushall are going to get a chance to take another throw in. Whether that's come off of an Alfreton player or not, I'm unsure. But down the line it'll go towards Samuels, headed away by Newell, picked off by Cantrell. Back into the midfield with Fletcher. Osborne does pinch it, but neither side really able to get a foot on the ball until Osborne does once again. Lays it back to Lund, who makes the clearance, brought down by the chest of Day. Out to Osborne again on the left-hand side. He gets beyond his man, tries to take it in field towards Fletcher, who tries to buy the foul off of Osborne. Referee doesn't see the free kick in that, but does see the throw in as it bounces out off of Owen German. Rushall with a throw in, slap bang on the halfway line. Taken by King Harms, and forward they come once again. Rushall Claxton looking to challenge with the 50-50, but it's going to drop to Samuels on the right-hand side of the box. Drops it back, and the shot comes in for Rushall from McGlinchey. Sykes Kenworthy able to make the save. Had to kind of drop for it, but not necessarily dive. Was able to keep it in his grasp.
Yeah, well held. You know, especially with that goal mark, if it took any slight bobble, could have gone anywhere. Safe hands.
Sykes Kenworthy sends it all the way up towards Jake Day, kind of nods it on with his thigh more than anything, and it drops to Osborne on the left-hand side, looking to carry it forward. He has Newell in support. Opts to go alone, though, as he tries to wriggle his way into the area. Dispossessed fairly simply, though, by the Rushall right back. King Harms back with Adam Lund in the Alfreton half. Does well to evade the press of two players before laying it off for Solidemi, and now Hunt carries it over to the right-hand side of the defence. Looks to clip it in behind for Salmon, but it's a waste of possession for Alfreton.
Get off, Pam.
Whether the wind has picked that up or not, it's gone out of the ground, and Pam's going to have to get her skates on to collect another ball. It will be a Rushall throw inside their own half on the left-hand side.
Where's she coming back with the ball?
It's actually unbelievable. It's poetic every single time we see a ball go out, we have a look for Pam to see where she is, and she's always returning to the ground with a ball in hand.
She got it from?
She's getting her steps in, either way.
The ball's not gone out yet. Why is she coming back with? Oh,
She's making herself look hard at work, mate.
That's
the ball
brilliant.
Does bounce out for a Rushall Olympic goal kick. Maloney will understandably take his time before getting play back underway. You know, they've got the lead, and a win at the moment would be one that kind of sees their survival hopes stay alive, and even if that's just for another week, they can gain some ground and overtake Needham Market, who aren't playing this weekend thanks to their run in the FA Trophy. This is Rushall's game in hand on Needham Market, and if they can get 3 points and leapfrog them into 21st, put the pressure on Radcliffe, who play Scunthorpe today, could mean that they give themselves that little bit of an extra chance. And as long as you're still in the fight week by week, that's all you can ask for. As Rushall seem confident to play it across the back line, but Alfreton looking to put a bit of pressure on and lower that confidence. But at the moment, the visitors handling the press fairly calmly. Eventually dropped all the way back to the goalkeeper Maloney, who clears long. Max Hunt helps to nod it down towards Claxton rather than just sending it back forward. Claxton, though, will look to hit the line in search of Salmon. Doesn't quite make it there, though. Picked off by Liam McAlinden. His clearance up into the midfield. Sees Josh Claxton poke it out for a throw-in. Rushall with another throw right in front of the home dugout. As we've just kind of, you know, thinking about since the goal's gone in, the game has died a little bit in terms of action. It's just been a case of balls going out of play, goal kicks. Not really much to write home about since Rushall took that lead, which is probably what they'd want in the position that they are in.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about how lovely it is outside today, and we've been put in the coldest place on earth.
Somehow.
That is the only place with no sun on it, in the shade. It's a wind tunnel. I'm absolutely frozen.
Well, Rushall's throw was sent back out immediately for an Alfreton one. Adam Lund does launch it into the area, headed away. First time straight out for another Lundy throw. Right on that right-hand side, kind of in line with the edge of the box. So a chance for him to drill it into the area. Jake Day standing on the goalkeeper as it comes in towards Solidemi, headed away by Cameron towards German on the edge. Can't get his shot away, though. Rushall trying to clear it. It's blocked by Owen German, but straight out for a goal kick for Rushall. And they'll be happy to have dealt with that Adam Lund throw decently enough. I think that's going to be a big task for them this afternoon. Looking at the side, there's not a great deal of height in it outside of the two centre halves, so maybe something that Alfreton are going to look to capitalise on. We apologise if you are hearing the relentless wind that's going into our headsets at the moment. We can hear it, and we've got our ears covered. Well, Max Hunt sees the ball drop back to him by Jake Day, miscontrols it slightly, has to give it back to Sykes Kenworthy, brought down well by German, but then his second touch to try and lay it off his paw. And Rushall happy to pinch it as McGlinchey drops it out to the left-hand side for the winger Seb Thompson, and his cross into the box.
It was a corner, by the way.
Towards Samuels. Looked like it was blocked, but the referee points for a goal kick, and Rushall don't contest it too much, which would indicate that they're not in disagreement with the decision, as Sykes Kenworthy is now just waiting for the football to come back. And I think the kids behind the goal are taking as long as they like before handing it back to the man in purple. Eventually does get it back, though. Lays it down on the edge of the 6-yard box for the goal kick. On this windy, I mean, it's not even a windy day. I can't really get over how cool it is in here. Sykes Kenworthy, his goal kick over towards the left-hand side this time for Sam Osborne, but headed away by the fullback Callum King-Harwood once again. He's had a lot to deal with so far this afternoon and has done well. Wins that header again. Comes out for an Alfreton throw just in front of the halfway line for Adam Lund to take, still within distance of reaching the box. Into the box it goes towards Jake Day, headed away by Cameron, flicked on by German on the edge of the box and eventually cleared by Thompson. Max Hunt tries to head it back into a dangerous area where Claxton is lurking, but Thompson with the clearance. Hunt sends it back forward. He feels that he's clipped as he gets that clear, but the referee not interested in awarding a decision, but Claxton gets it back though, looks to knock it down the line for Salmon, who tries his cross, is blocked immediately by Liam McAlinden and eventually cleared away. Straight out for an Alfreton throw, and a little spell of territory for the Reds. And they will have a chance to continue it with an Adam Lund throw from that right-hand side, kind of a repeat of the one from 2 minutes ago. Newell and Claxton stay back, every other Red shirt inside the area or on the edge of the box. Adam Lund about 3 yards from the corner flag. Sends it into the area towards the front post, looking for Hunt, who clears it if anything. Drops out towards the edge of the box for Cantrell, who tries the shot on his left foot, but it's blocked. McAlinden happy to bring it down in the area and clear that one away. Up towards Samuels, but it's shielded well by Newell and eventually through to Claxton, who lays it off to his goalkeeper. Forward through to German. Looks to flick it on for Salmon in behind, and the ball makes its way all the way through into the Rushall penalty area and forced to be headed back to the goalkeeper, Maloney. And there was a decent amount of steam on that header back to the keeper. I thought for a moment it might have caught him out, but not much of a problem for the Rushall keeper, who sends it long, cleared away by Solidemi into that midfield area where it's contested by both Alfreton and Rushall. Eventually put to an end with a Max Hunt clearance and happily nodded back to the goalkeeper by the Rushall defender. Cameron gets it from his keeper, goes back to Maloney, brings it over to the right-hand side of his box, knocks it round the corner beyond Day. Little Cruyff turn, back to the goalkeeper again for Maloney. This time goes long towards Samuels, won by Hunt in the air. Osborne trying to dispossess Kingholms once again. That's been a battle to watch this afternoon. As they come forward down the right-hand side, it's Kingholms once again involved in the action, looks to put the cross into the area in search of Samuels. But he tumbles out of the field of play, and I think he's hurt himself a little bit there as he stayed down right on the sort of edge of the 6-yard box, holding his head, and I don't think the referee spotted it. Doesn't seem that the Rushall players have either, because they're just kind of watching their teammate lay down in the box now. I think the referee is happy to just let the game continue, as bizarrely Austin Samuels just sits in the Alfreton penalty area. Ball comes down the line from Rushall, cleared away by Hunt. Rushall essentially playing with 10 here. So Jake Day looked to chase down that ball that made its way all the way through to the keeper.
His tactic, he's going to get up here and get on the end of something.
But now the Rushall players asking him kind of what he's doing, as the physio's just kind of made his own way over behind the goal to stand just off the pitch in front of Samuels, but he can't actually treat him because he's sat on the pitch. This really is odd. And I think we're now seeing the physio kind of reach over the barrier of the pitch.
Shut him off!
So he's technically not on the field. He is now. He's just stood in the box. The physio is just treating a Rushall player as the game goes on.
The referee's looked at it.
The referee's looking at it and he's completely happy with this. This really is odd. The physio
there we go.
Finally puts an end to the bizarre scene that we're seeing here. The number 9, the goal scorer for Rushall, Austin Samuels.
Is he going to book the physio?
I think the physio might get a yellow card here. I don't know if it's for Samuels or the physio. Yep, the yellow card has been brandished to either the physio or Austin Samuels. I think it's more likely to be for the physio, because he's just not been waved on by the referee, but just been stood in the box treating his player for a while, getting a bit of a rub down. And Austin Samuels is now going to have to stand on the side of the pitch and be waved back on by the referee. I think we're going to restart with a drop ball. I've never seen anything like that. The physio just made his way onto the pitch on his own accord and kind of like stood off the edge of the pitch for a little bit before treating Austin Samuels, and then eventually decides to break that invisible barrier, steps onto the pitch, and then the referee, after about 2 minutes of Austin Samuels laying down in the box, puts a stop to the game because he has to, because Rushall have got 12 men on the pitch. One of them's sat on the ground and one of them's the physio, and eventually earns himself a yellow card in the process. Very, very strange. And the referee's now checking with Austin Samuels, who he knows by first name basis. Still tells him to wait. Hasn't waved him back on just yet. The ball comes down the line for Rushall. And Solademi happy to watch that one bounce out for another throw. This time for Alfreton though. The physio now I think is going to make his way back around the goal as Samuels is back on the pitch. What a strange scenario that was. And here is Samuels straight back into the action, looking to fend off Solademi. He does get the ball at his feet, drops it back into the midfield for Fletcher, whose pass is poor, picked off by Lund. Salmon gets beyond his man and wins the foul. He's drawn it, but it's always going to be a free kick. Thompson kind of just left one in on him there. Salmon happy to kind of purchase the foul. It's one of them where there's kind of no malice in the challenge, but if the leg is there dangling,
he has just like knocked the ball past him with no intent, knowing that he's
just to win the
fouled.
free kick. But there you go, you can't argue with that. Referee points for the free kick inside the Alfreton half. Sykes Kenworthy prepares to take. Solademi and Hunt go forward over towards the left hand side, but Kenworthy looks to go quick to Salmon on the opposite side as he darts out from the line created, tries to make his way into the box, lays it back to Claxton. First time crossing towards Jake Day, can't quite sort his feet out in time. And Rushall unable to really clear it, and it's going to be poked out for a throw in the end. Osborne had time to bring that down if he wanted to, but was happy to just watch it trickle out for an Alfreton throw. So Adam Lund strides over in preparation for another launch into the area. Matty's getting a vantage point for this one, that's why he's gone off screen. Into the box it goes towards the goalkeeper's gloves.
Wasn't worth it.
Scott Maloney doesn't have too much of a problem claiming that one down to his chest. Buys Rushall some time to make their way back up the pitch. Lops to go short, the goalkeeper. Rolls it straight out. And eventually sent down the line anyway. Intercepted by Hunt, poked out for a Rushall throw. And I said it about 10 minutes ago, that it does feel like all of the intensity from this game is kind of gone. Vanished quickly. And, you know, possibly a tactical thing. Maybe that's what Rushall have looked to do since taking the lead. And it's kind of, you know, win by all means necessary in the position that they are in at the moment. You completely understand it. I mean, that throw-in, though, doesn't look like they're at the top of their game fighting, as the 1-2 attempt from Alexander Fletcher is just passed out for an Alfreton throw.
I'd just like to flag as well, with obviously Billy Heath getting a red card against Charlie. He's in the dugout today, which I'm assuming means there was some sort of appeal. That was successful, because we knew he'd be there Tuesday, because these things take time to register.
The 7-day rule.
I don't know whether today's the 7th day, isn't it? So does that count as maybe it's still not gone through?
I'm not sure. Well, nonetheless, Billy Heath is there in his kind of casual wear, which we've not been used to seeing, but maybe that's a superstition thing. The ball clipped in behind for Lewis Salmon. Offside flag is raised against the winger. Will be a free kick to Rushall on the left-hand side of the box. Scott Maloney prepares to take this one, carries it on over right onto the corner of the 18-yard box. Referee tells him there's fine. Waits for the free kick. Both sets of players kind of occupying that area on the left-hand side of the pitch. All of them over there. Forward it comes from Maloney. Headed away by Lund. Cantrell tries to further the clearance down the line. Rushall pick it off though. It's Thompson. Challenged by Salmon, who eventually plays it off of his man to win the throw-in. Slap bang on the halfway mark. Claxton receives that ball from Solly, prepares the throw-in to be sent down the line. That's where it will go, towards Day. Headed away by Cameron. Back forward by Claxton towards Day. Tries to turn it around the corner for Salmon. But McAlinden just happy to shepherd that one out for a throw-in of their own. It's a really flat atmosphere at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I might start jogging on the spot because I'm so cold.
No voice, really, from either fans since that early goal. And I think that kind of speaks volumes from the fact that Alfreton have now kind of got on over the line.
Woo!
It's been a poor end to the season. That is out of absolutely nowhere, Liam McAlinden tries to bring some life to the Impact Arena with a couple of Maradona turns beyond his man.
I could hear the music playing. Oh, you know, one of them.
Actually, in the process, has won a free kick for his side.
Yeah, after playing the best ball down the line I've seen at the Impact Arena, that Samuels was running onto, and the referee's gone, yeah, that's actually
no room for that, mate.
That's a foul.
Yeah, you can't do that. And eventually the ball sent back forwards by Maloney and straight out for an Alfreton throw.
Fans just kung fu kicked the ball.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a statistic here that the ball's been out of play for more time than it's been in play. I would not be at all shocked. Josh Claxton looks to send this throw down the line. It bounces all the way through towards Salmon, but cleared away by Rushall. Turned around the corner by Thompson towards the centre circle. Cleared by Solademi. Sent back forward by Rushall in search of Theo Williams. Nathan Newell with the clearance. It bounces out for a Rushall throw inside the Alfreton half, kind of on the brink where the midfield third becomes the defensive third. Rushall take the time on this one. Eventually sent in towards
the
area. Adam Lund, I think he's given simulation, and the referee is not wrong to do so.
He's given her a foul down here.
Well, we couldn't see if there was a foul down here, but Adam Lund was challenged by Samuels as that ball kind of floated towards the area, and Adam Lund threw himself to the ground screaming. And we thought for a minute, oh, that's your kind of classic purchased free kick. But then the referee points the other way, but there was a foul just after the throw was taken. It's right beneath the gantry, so we can't see it, unfortunately, but it will be
an advantageous position.
A Rushall free kick. Alexander Fletcher standing over it, right foot delivery in towards the back post, flicked on at the front post. I think it's going to run all the way out for an Alfreton Town goal kick. It is.
I'm going to stay here, I can see everything.
Matty's now going to stand right in the corner of the gantry so he can get that kind of viewpoint, which
hopefully there's not a big gust of wind that knocks me out.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm not going to stand there because I get all the wind.
Yeah,
I'm tangled.
Nearly going to die. Yeah, weirdly, this kind of little area, this little blind spot beneath the gantry, we don't see all that much action here, but strangely enough in this game, there's been multiple occasions where the ball's ended up there and we've just had to kind of guess at what's going on, but nonetheless we can now see the ball, thankfully, straight through to the Rushall goalkeeper from the Alfreton one. Maloney with the ball in his hands, got it back from his defender. Drops it out onto the edge of his box, looks to go long towards Samuels. Solademi though, jumps for the header. And eventually Hunt prods that one through for Osborne. Flicks it up for himself before hacking that clearance forward into the path of Salmon, who does get there well. Tries to prod it into Claxton's area. Eventually makes his way back to Adam Lund, who tries to send it down the line himself. His pass blocked. Claxton with a little jiu-jitsu style kick to keep it alive. Finds Salmon, cross into the area looking for Day, but cleared away by Cameron. And eventually Claxton has it back on that right-hand side, tries to cross into the area. Doesn't get the most power on it though. Still bobbling around on the edge of the box. Both sets of players trying to get something on it and make it theirs. And eventually Rushall break away with it, but Alfreton win it back through Jake Day. Tries to find Sam Osborne. It's a nice pass, but the flag is up on Sam Osborne. Jake Day managed to find Osborne in a position where it looked like he was kind of drifting beyond the defence. He had to come back to receive the ball, but he came back from an offside position. So it will be a free kick for Rushall on the edge of their own box as we approach 40 minutes here. Not too long to go until we see the about 5 minutes till we see the board raised for the additional time. It's been a half to forget for Alfreton so far, finding themselves behind off the back of that penalty decision. Haven't really tested Scott Maloney all that much, and still looking to find a way back into the game. Max Hunt sends that clearance forward towards Lewis Salmon on the right-hand side. It's a poor touch though. Billy Heath turns around in displeasure and disbelief as Rushall look to make their way down the line through Seb Thompson. Challenged by Claxton, but Thompson does get beyond him. Doesn't get beyond Cantrell though. Puts the foot in as Thompson was making his way towards the box. Pokes it out for a Rushall Olympic throw. On that left-hand side, Thompson will get it from the throw-in taker and eventually can't send it back to him. Claxton will clear. runs straight through for Bavanganga. Knocks it back to Maloney eventually. Took his time before heading it back to him, so he's allowed to pick it up. Scott Maloney wants his players over towards the right-hand side of the pitch, so he's going to wait for them to shimmy over. Eventually drops the ball, sends it along himself. I think that one's going to head out for a throw. Straight out of play from the goalkeeper for an Alfreton throw. Just another instance where the ball's not in play. Straight back down the line by Adam Lund, though. Didn't waste any time there. It's going to run all the way through to Osborne on the left-hand side as the ball kind of bobbles under his feet, but he does well to maintain possession. Lays it back for Newell. First time cross into a kind of uncertain area, but no red shirt gambling. Straight away, Rushall looked to get back up the other side of the field through Maloney towards Samuels, headed away by Hunt. German felt he was held there. Alfreton do have the ball with Day. Has to kind of wrestle beyond his man, who lays it off for Solademi in the end. Centre back carries it forward for German. Looks to poke it in behind for Osborne. I think Bavanganga knew that Osborne was offside, as did he. And there's an instance where the player that is offside doesn't touch the ball, but has done enough for the linesman to believe to interfere. True, maybe if he raised his arms.
I'm not doing anything.
Maybe if he surrendered to the referee.
White flag.
Yeah. Might have gotten away with it, but the linesman's flag was raised, as I suppose the centre-back, Jesse Bavanga, had to, challenge for the ball there because of Sam Osborne's presence. So that's enough for the referee to go for offside. It will be a free kick just outside the Rushall area. Maloney takes it. He doesn't look happy with it, but it makes its way all the way through towards the edge of the box, headed away by Lund. German tries to further the clearance, but is unable to. Osborne himself steps in with some defensive duty. Salmon tries to flick it on. It's McAlinden. Across to Thompson. Still with Seb Thompson. Looks to get beyond Josh Claxton. Tries the left-footed cross towards Samuels, and Solademi gets something on it. Not necessarily a clearance, but enough to see the ball bobble out of the area in the end. And now George Cantrell looks to carry it forward for Alfred and tries to switch the play over to Sam Osborne, but not enough conviction on it to reach the winger who was making the run. And a simple pass back to the goalkeeper, and then Maloney with the clearance. Runs all the way through to George Sykes-Kenworthy. It's Billy Heath, whose voice you can hear from all the way up in the gantry on the opposite side of the field. Doesn't sound too pleased. Sykes-Kenworthy with a little drop kick up towards Jake Day. Bounces, headed away by Bavanga. Jake Day happy to use his body to see that one out for a throw-in. Adam Lund flicks it up into his arms, prepares for another launched throw into the area. Hunt and Solademi make their way forward. Day and Salmon in the box as well. Osborne lurking at the back post. German and Cantrell stood on the edge. In it comes from Adam Lund towards that kind of centre of the box. Cantrell tries to head it to keep it alive. Adam Lund in a foot race with King Harms, and eventually King Harms coming out on top, winning the goal kick. Playing it off of Adam Lund, straight out of play for Scott Maloney to take the goal kick. About 2 minutes until we'll see that board for added time raised in this first half. Certainly not been a classic. It's Rushall, a team fighting for their lives in the drop zone against Alfreton, who have kind of secured their status now. Haven't got all that much to play for. And this is the first game since Alfreton secured their National League North status, so perhaps we're seeing a little bit of complacency or relief in the performance so far as Lewis Salmon picks it up from Hunt. Claxton tries to go down the line, but Rushall happy to win that one back. It's with Samuels. His header, though, can't find a teammate. Solademi intercepts, lays it back to Sykes-Kenworthy. He's got Jake Day on the right-hand side. He's drifted over a little bit. Sykes-Kenworthy makes him run to the opposite side to try and challenge for that header. And now King Harms happy to volley that one clear. Nathan Newell heads it back forward into a contested midfield. Still with Rushall, though. Bavanganga with the clearance up towards Adam Lund. Now Day plays a 1-2. Adam Lund tries to kind of poke it down the line for Osborne. And it will stay in play, but it didn't reach the number 25. Maloney gets it back from his defender and clears up towards Austin Samuels. Solademi with a headed clearance into the chest of Cantrell. He feels he's fouled. The referee agrees. Kind of drops down to his knees as he's pulled back by a Rushall player. And we will see 2 minutes of added time in this first half. 2 minutes for Alfreton to possibly get the ball forward off the back of this free kick and find an equaliser before the break. Nathan Newell stands over this free kick just inside the Alfreton half on the left-hand side. All of the red shirts over on the right. That's where the free kick is delivered to. Headed away by the captain, Cameron. Bounces out for a throw, so a chance still for Alfreton to find something before the half-time whistle goes. Adam Lund makes his way over to take it. Probably going to be the last opportunity of this first half, unless it bounces out for another set piece. Adam Lund launches it into the box towards the usual suspects. Goalkeeper gets a punch on it. Bounces out towards the edge of the box. Cantrell just about gets it under control. Lays it back to Nathan Newell. Plays it to the feet of Sam Osborne, who I don't think wanted it there. And Rushall are going to look to come forward themselves. Theo Williams tries to play it in behind for Samuels, but Sykes Kenworthy able to pick that one up at his own leisure. Sends the goal kick, or the drop kick forward, and Samuels challenged him. Sykes Kenworthy went down after playing that ball. He felt he was caught by Samuels. It certainly sounded like there was a clash of boots, but the referee wasn't looking.
Yeah, no, that's the referee has to do something about that, because he's actually like gone to block it. It's not like he's stood in his way. He's raised his leg and put it where the kick was going to be.
Well, Alfreton do manage to get one more opportunity in this second half as the throw in from Adam Lund this time goes short towards Osborne. His cross is cleared. Samuels battling Nathan Newell for it. Goes down, doesn't get the foul that he wants. Really good battling from Nathan Newell as Cantrell looks to knock that one in behind, and I think if anything the wind has picked that one up. Scott Maloney touches the ball down. He's going to wait for the press of a red shirt before picking it up, and as he does so the referee will blow his whistle for the half-time break. Alfreton Town trailing by a goal to nil courtesy of that Austin Samuels early penalty, won by the captain Nathan Cameron, who kind of drew the foul from David Solademi. One of those decisions that wasn't too contentious, although Solademi is now having a conversation with the referee, perhaps about the penalty decision, before heading into the tunnel. But that will be all she wrote for the first 45. Alfreton with it all to do in the second half, and I think
where's he gone?
A bit of a spanner in the works as Matty looked eager to get his half-time quiz going.
I brought a quiz glove and everything
against me and Quentin, but he's done a runner. He's bolted.
He's vaulted.
And he's now on the pitch. He's shirked it, mate.
Where is he?
He's down there. Shout at him.
What are you doing? There's a quiz. Oh, he's got to get a camera.
Goodness me. We might have to have a boring old one-man quiz.
Oh, here comes Frezzy with his camera. Hang on.
Hang on, we could be on for it.
He's walking. No, he's gone. He's gone.
He's
right.
getting the GoPro. He's getting the GoPro. Well, Matty, it's your decision as the quiz master.
The quiz will go on.
The show will go on.
Yeah, well, only because I put effort into it. And we'll just see how many you get. Feel free to play along at home.
Give me a target.
A target.
Something to play for. So there's a little bit of suspense.
Right, so we'll do the tiebreak as well. There's 11 questions.
Okay.
I think you can get 8.
What is is there a theme today? I know it's higher or lower.
It's higher or lower. There's no theme. All the questions are basically higher or lower. So you've got 50-50
Okay.
with every single question.
What was the target, sorry?
8.
8. Okay, so it's a hefty target.
Right. Number 1. Thierry Henry has scored 175 Premier League goals. Has Frank Lampard scored higher or lower?
He scored a lot of goals, Frank Lampard. I've got it in my head that he got like 160 or something. And I think that might just be for Chelsea. That might not just be in the Premier. I don't know, he scored a ridiculous amount. I'm going to say lower. My heart's telling me lower.
It's not a good start.
It's not a good start.
It's got a good start. It's high. He scored 177, which is 2 more than Thierry Henry.
Fair enough. That's really impressive.
Premier League career. That's why he's one of the best midfielders ever. The record attendance at Wembley is higher or lower than 125,000.
I don't think it can hold that many, unless I'm being stupid. And I'm assuming this is the new Wembley.
It just said Wembley on the the
I'm going to say lower. I don't know if there is a ground that can hold 125,000.
Well, it started badly, and it's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. You're joking.
It's high. The record attendance at Wembley is 126,000.
How can that many people get in there? Was it for a football match?
He didn't say for a football match.
If this is
but I asked for a football quiz.
Okay.
So it was a football quiz.
Fair enough. Really bad start. I'm not going to reach this target.
It's not ideal. Number 3, Diego Maradona scored 34 goals for Argentina.
Yeah.
Did Gabriel Batistuta score higher or lower?
I have no idea. I'll be completely honest. I've got no clue. It could be. It sounds stupid, but you know, if it could be 35, it could be 33. There's no like. I'm gonna say higher. Why not?
Well, it started badly.
It's gotten even
worse.
worse.
It got worse. But we're on the up.
Oh, there we go.
It is higher.
Thank
Gabriel
goodness.
Batistuta scored 56, which is quite.
That's a lot, actually.
Quite a bit more. Batistuta, for anyone who doesn't know, was something of a legendary striker. Spent a lot of time at Fiorentina. The Argentine scored a lot of goals in the Serie A.
Thank God.
There you go. You got one. We're off the mark now. We're going to start cooking on gas. We're going to start putting a bit of a run together.
Hopefully.
All right, number 4. Newcastle have finished runners-up of the English top flight 4 times. Have Sunderland finished runner-up higher or lower times?
Don't know. Obviously, imagine this is all-time top division.
Includes the Premier League era, yes.
Yeah,
Every.
Don't know. I went higher last time. I'll go lower this time.
Started bad. It got worse.
Got a bit better.
It got a bit better. And it's good again.
Yes.
Because it is lower. Sunderland have become runners-up 3 times.
It's
so
broken even.
1 less, yeah.
There we go.
That's all you want, really, isn't it? You don't want to, it's when you play Call of Duty, you don't want to put negative KD ratio.
Yeah, I've got an even KD at the moment.
Right, number 5. The biggest defeat in the Premier League era is 9-0.
Right.
Is the biggest defeat in Bundesliga history higher or lower?
Don't know. 9 goals is a lot.
It is a lot.
Not that 8 wouldn't be, I suppose. But I don't know. I'm trying to rack my brain for some like random game that's been on like the Bundesliga when they used to have it on like telly, the highlight show back in the day. I don't know. Am I just going to A it? I went higher, then I went lower. That served me well. So I'm going to say there's been a 10-0 in the Bundesliga.
Well, it started bad. It got worse. It got a bit better. We super sailing. And now it's gotten even better again.
Oh, get in there.
It wasn't a 10-0.
Was it an 11-1?
It was 11-1.
That is mental.
Borussia Dortmund versus Arminia Bielefeld, which was only 2 years ago, I believe. Maybe nearly 3, yeah, that game. When Bielefeld were in the Bundesliga.
I've got no recollection of that at all.
And Dortmund beat them 11-1.
I mean, yeah, of course I do. That's why I got it right. And obviously, I knew that.
Bielefeld obviously down in the 3rd division now, who I'm currently managing on Football Manager as well. Had to get that in there. So that's what's this? We're on number 6.
Yeah, 3-2.
Man United have won the FA Cup 12 times. Have Arsenal won it higher or lower times?
I think I've immediately thought less, but then I'm just trying to think because they got a bit of a reputation for just winning the FA Cup and doing nothing else for quite a while. Oh no, I could be being a div here, and it could be like they might have got 20. Oh, I'm gonna say lower. Again, continuing the going lower, higher, lower, higher.
Well, it started bad. It got worse, but then you saved it.
I did.
3 correct in a row.
But now
we're on the down again.
Oh no!
Because it's wrong. Arsenal have won the FA Cup 14 times, which is 2 higher.
Rubbish.
Man United, so not what you want. We're back even though.
3-3.
It's not awful. Number 7.
I've got to go perfect though to reach that 8-point target.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic has won league titles in 4 different countries.
Yeah.
Has Cristiano Ronaldo won league titles in higher or lower amount of countries?
Okay. Okay, this is gettable, surely. 4, did you say?
Yeah, Zlatan has won 4 league titles.
So it's either 3 or 5. So he obviously won one in Spain. He won one in Italy. League titles, did you say?
League titles.
League titles. I don't think he's won the league in Saudi. Obviously, he won the league with Man United. I don't think he would have won the league with Sporting. So I'm going to say less. I'm going to say lower. I'm going to say it's 3.
Well, we were even.
Yeah.
After a bad start, that got better. And we're on the up again, because that is correct.
Yes.
You've sussed that out perfectly.
Get in there.
He has only won 3 in 3 countries, and Zlatan has won in 4 countries, which I think he's a bit of a nomadic striker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ibra gets about a bit. Number 8. Sergio Aguero scored 184 Premier League goals. Did Andy Cole, that I've spelt wrong for some reason, I've spelled it C-O-A-L.
Andy Cole. Right, yeah.
Did Andy Cole score higher or lower amount of Premier League goals?
I don't know. It's a case of how many did he share with Yorkie. I'm going to say lower. I'm going to say lower. That was my instinct. I don't know why. I'm saying lower.
I'm going to build a bit of a suspense here. You're
Okay.
even. You're 4-3. Well, you knew you had to be perfect
Yeah.
to get that target of 8. And I have to say, you've disappointed me.
No!
You have disappointed me because it was
Rubbish.
higher. It was higher, and Andy Cole scored 187, which is 3 goals more
Close.
than Aguero. Number 9. You can't really salvage this.
I can't, no. I'm playing for pride now, much like Alfreton are.
Iker Casillas has the La Liga record for the most clean sheets at 167.
That is a lot.
Is the record higher or lower in the Premier League?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Petr Cech has it. I don't know if that's correct or incorrect. But I don't know how many that is. I don't know if he was there for absolutely ages, wasn't he? Casillas, will Cech have been there for long enough? He was at Chelsea, he was at Arsenal. He wasn't at Arsenal when they were great. I'm going to say less because the last one was more.
Well, you've already let me down.
I have.
And now you're just letting yourself down.
Oh, dear.
Because you've got it wrong again.
Blooming heck.
It's higher. Petr Cech has 202 clean sheets.
Oh my god, that is awful. That's not even close.
Well, that is about 35 more
That is terrible.
than Casillas. Obviously, Casillas was playing for Real Madrid when he was, a kid. He was there a long time.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, surely you must have wrapped him up.
Yeah, but
Obviously
you did well
not.
to work out it was Cech.
Well,
But
yeah,
he's
that's something,
got
I suppose.
significantly more clean sheets.
Terrible.
Number 10.
He played in the Prem till he was like 40 though, didn't he? I should have thought about that.
Number 10, Arsene Wenger managed 828 Premier League matches.
That's a lot.
Did Sir Alex Ferguson manage higher or lower amount of games
This is.
in the Premier League?
I don't. I could do the maths if I knew when they were appointed, but I've not got that in my locker. I know Arsene Wenger managed until I want to say 2017 or 18. And Fergie, I think, stepped down in 2013. So it's a case of, did he get the job more than 5 years before Arsene Wenger did? I'm gonna say
Oh, look who it is!
you've come back to a stinker. A stinker. Yeah.
He's got about 3 right. We'll quickly run through them if we've got time.
I'm gonna say he has managed more games. I'm gonna say that he joined in the 80s or something.
Well,
No,
it started bad. It got worse.
don't do this to me.
It got slightly better. It got bad again. Then you disappointed me.
Yeah.
Then you disappointed yourself. And now you're embarrassing yourself.
you're joking,
because you've got
mate.
another one wrong.
This is the worst
The
performance.
answer was
I'm lucky I'm
lower.
not playing against somebody here. This has tarnished my record.
810 games. So, what would have been a tiebreaker which is you're gonna have to take the gamble 50-50 because I don't think you know this.
Right. Okay.
West Ham have won the FA Cup 3 times.
Yep.
Have Leeds won it a higher or lower amount of times?
I don't know. So I'll give you. The last one was lower, wasn't it? This isn't the only logic that I'm working with now, although that's let me down for quite some time. So I'm going to say higher, or slightly more historic.
Right. So it started bad. It got worse. It got slightly better. Then you let me down. You let yourself down, and then you've embarrassed yourself.
And now you've embarrassed
the entirety of Essex, the entirety of Braintree, because you've got it wrong again.
So what's that? 4.
What did you get right?
I think it was.
What did you get right? You got Battuta right.
Yeah.
You got Newcastle's question right.
Yeah.
You got
one of the
biggest
first.
defeat right. These are all the first. So this is like the
Yeah.
3 you got right in a row, and then you got you've got 4 out of 11.
That is terrible.
That is shocking.
I'm very lucky that there was no opponent today. So that's a Mickey Mouse round. I'm not counting that in my books. In my book of records, that's a pre-season friendly of a game of a round. But once again, Matty's managed to time the quiz pretty perfectly as both the teams come back out of the tunnel for the second half here. Rushall with that 1-goal lead that they will look to protect. Just scanning both the sides. I don't think we've seen any half-time swaps for either team. I think both 11s are as they were in that first half. Although actually,
no, he's got a board.
I was going to say, I think we are going to see a change. I think it's
Well
Liam Waldock who is going to be brought in place of Owen German. I think I can't see at the moment.
Yeah.
So a slightly attacking change in that midfield. Liam Waldock comes on at half-time for the Reds in place of Owen German, who talked himself into a booking in that first half. So Billy Heath just looking to shake things up a little bit for this second 45. Liam Waldock scored that all-important winner against Leamington to get Alfreton that first win at the Impact in 2025.
That made him top scorer as well.
It did let him overtake Jan Abbey. Will he get a second today? The referee strolls back across into the Alfreton half. Rushall prepared to get things underway. Roddy McGlinchey stood over the kickoff for the picks, and there is the whistle. Things back underway in this second half, and for once we've seen the team not go immediately direct from kickoff, just with a little extra step or two before sending it down the line, and it looks like it might work out for them as King Harms takes possession on that right-hand side. Hooked back forward up towards Theo Williams. It's challenged by Nathan Newell and eventually rolls out for a goal kick. It didn't work. It was never going to work. It never has worked in history, that kickoff routine, but we will always see every single team do it. It's become commonplace at the Impact. So straight out for a goal kick for Sykes Kenworthy to take. On the right-hand side of his 6-yard box, the players move over to the right-hand side of the pitch. That's where it'll go, towards Liam Waldock. Lewis Salmon tries to flick it over his head to keep it in play, manages to do so. Jake Day tries to flick it on even further for Waldock, but Liam McAlinden does enough to dispossess him and send it back down the line, headed forward by Hunt into the path of Jake Day. Has time to bring it down. Skips beyond his man over on the right flank, tries to carry it forward, and eventually the linesman's flag goes in favour of Rushall, and they will get themselves a free kick. Jake Day asking him the question as to what he's done wrong there, but I think he's kind of bundled into the Rushall player in a bid to keep possession for the Reds, and it will be a free kick to the visitors, who have that all-important lead to cling on to in this second half. I'm going to have a little look at what the Needham, not the Needham Market score, sorry, the Radcliffe score is, to see if Rushall are going to have been looking at that at half-time with the eye to get themselves in that survival mix. Let's have a quick look. Radcliffe currently drawing 0-0 at home with Scunthorpe, so dropping 2 points, but for them, I'm sure they'd see it as a point earned towards survival against an opposition like Scunthorpe. As Rushall themselves look to come forward once again here, and this time it's McGlinchey trying to find his winger, Seb Thompson, who's found a little bit of space in behind Josh Claxton in the first half, but unable to do so there. The pass too heavy for the winger to latch onto. Straight out for the Claxton throw, which comes down the line towards Day, headed into the midfield by Thompson. King Harms steps up to get there ahead of Osborne. Tries to lay it down to Samuels, who's made the run to the left-hand side, but a bit of a miscommunication between Solidemi and Newell, and Rushall win it back. Here's the skipper, Cameron. Comes across to McAlinden. Brings it beyond Lewis Salmon, skips into that area really well. Left-footed pass in search of Samuels. Is picked off by Lund. Laid back to Sykes Kenworthy, who sends it upfield, flicked on by Waldock. Into the chest of Day, lays it out wide to Sam Osborne, who's going to slow it down momentarily before then trying to reignite that run. Finds Waldock in space in the middle. Goes back to Osborne. Bit of an elongated 1-2. Osborne tries to take it beyond the full-back. Unable to do so. Drops back to Newell, now with Osborne again. Bit of a spell of possession here for Alfreton. Now with Waldock, tries to find Salmon, who's inside the area. Tries the left-footed shot as the ball bobbled up ever so slightly on his touch on his right foot. But a nice little move from the Reds. The kind of best piece of play we've seen with a football on the floor for often so far today. So promising signs at the start of this second half. But it will be nothing more than a Rushall goal kick. Scott Maloney happy to take his time before sending this one up the pitch. Forward it comes from the goalkeeper. Challenged by Max Hunt. Headed forward with relative ease. Flicked on by Salmon. Once again by Day as Waldock tries to get there ahead of Cameron and does so. Tries to then kind of slip it in behind for Salmon, and Waldock, I think, thought Salmon was in a little more of an advanced position than he was, because he played the pass and then straight away put his hands on his head. Realised the mistake that he'd made, but did well to latch onto that in the first place. Alfreton just trying to stick it on Rushall a little bit in the early stages of the second 45. Maloney sends it long towards Samuel, headed away by Hunt once again. It's Bavanganga sending it long over towards Theo Williams. Good clearance from Nathan Newell though, trying to find Sam Osborne. Rushall happy to win that back though. King Harms tries to take it down the line. I think it's trickled out of play though, and it has. Linesman's flag goes up straight away. Adam Lund sends the ball down the line for Jake Day with no hesitation. Challenged by Bavanganga, and eventually does enough to just see Jake Day kind of hobble the ball out of play. Rushall take it quickly, hooked up the line by Fletcher. Max Hunt sends it back where it came from. McAlinden battles Salmon for this one, and it's going to eventually run through to Maloney, who was quick off of his line. Noticed that that was going to be a tricky one for McAlinden, who's kind of slotting in at left back at the moment to deal with. Adam Lund does his best in the midfield to win the ball off of his man, and that was a kind of a, didn't know which way that decision was going to go. The referee blew his whistle and waited about 3 seconds before raising an arm, but it will be an Alfreton free kick just inside the Reds' half. Nathan Newell stood over it very far on that left-hand side as we see it. Every red shirt in the attacking half as it goes all the way through to Hunt, tries to flick it on. Rushall unable to completely clear, and Solidemi nods it back to Hunt, tries the left-footed cross himself, cleared away at the front post. Cantrell keeps it alive. Solidemi again getting involved in the attack. Finds Hunt with a nice pass into the feet of Waldock. Trying to look for that killer pass, but eventually drops it back for Adam Lund, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Sykes Kenworthy takes it out onto the D. Strides forward a little bit before sending it long towards Jake Day, who's drifted over to the left-hand side. Eventually drops a Waldock about 25 yards from goal. He felt that he was brought down. The referee didn't see as such. Rushall able to clear their lines. Very, very far away. I think the wind's going to keep that one in play. Both sets of players stopped running for it as it looked like it was just going to go straight out, and Solidemi then is forced to...
David Solidemi, that is cruel.
Hack that one clear, and Billy Heath just put his head in his hands and sat down straight away. Very, very disappointed with what he's just seen. Kind of gave up on the ball as it looked like it was going to bounce out, but you've got to make sure of it. And eventually was happy to just surrender the throw-in for Rushall, and we're seeing Callum King Harms make his way forward. And again, I don't understand how she does it. The ball's gone out of the ground. Pam's going to have to go and get it. But before she does that, she's returning with one to give to the fourth official. It was literally half time. Where's she got it from? Rushall get things back underway from that throw in. Alfreton quick to close it down though. Cantrell tries to give it back to Osborne, but it's not a kind pass, and Rushall are able to win it back for a second time. Adam Lund though puts in the challenge, hooks it down the line on his left foot. Nobody waiting there though except for the Rushall skipper Nathan Cameron. Knocks it into the midfield for Fletcher. Out wide for Bavanganga, who's kind of made his way forward on that right-hand side. Forward again by Fletcher, clipped in behind, looking for Samuels. Solidemi is there to contest it. Make sure not to make a foul, but in doing so lets him get the ball into the box, and Sykes Kenworthy does eventually claim it, sort of in an unorthodox fashion. It kind of bubbled up off of his midriff and then into his gloves in the end, but the man in purple sends a little side volley across for Lewis Salmon to battle for. Drops into the midfield though. Jack Thomas tackled by Liam Waldock really well. Now Lewis Salmon looks to make something for Alfreton. Outside the foot pass across to Sam Osborne on the left-hand side as he carries it into the area now. Delays the cross, waits for the support of Nathan Newell, and he does get it. Newell, left-footed cross into the area towards Dade, doesn't quite get his head to it, and I think it's going to bounce out for a corner. Took a nick on the way through. It's going to be an Alfreton corner. Two Rushall players down in the box, both centre-halves, Cameron and Bavanga. Both back to their feet though, kind of both as a pairing. Challenge Jake Day for that one.
Get my angle.
Matty's gone for the strategic angle.
Can stretch my knees here a bit as well, they're locking up a bit.
Sam Osborne to be the man to take the corner, right-footed, going to be an outswinger or one of the kind of clipped, lofted ones towards the back post that we see now and then. Cantrell providing that option on the edge. Hunt, Solidemi and Jake Day as that kind of three-man train near the penalty spot as the wind is not allowing the ball to sit still. Sam Osborne, as he kind of just pushes it into the ground to make sure it stays there. Two arms raised by the winger. In comes the corner, floated towards the back post. Adam Lund is coming in and absolutely clatters into Alexander Fletcher in a bid to win the ball. Fletcher's gone down and stayed down. And the referee, no hesitation to blow his whistle. I think that's just a man that's just taken the full kind of force of an oncoming body. I think we are going to see the physio waved on by the referee. He kind of raised his arm, but then
he's being vigilant.
I was going to say,
physio doesn't want to get a second bucket.
The ref sort of raised his arm and then changed it to a bit of a halt sign, and now Fletcher back to his feet, whether he's told the referee not to let the physio on. Nonetheless, play will continue, and I think it's going to be a free kick inside the Rushall box for Scott Maloney to take.
I don't know what it is with the Rushall staff and having caps on.
Yeah, they've all got them going on, haven't they?
They've all come kitted with some new caps. It must be a sponsor thing.
Well, Scott Maloney, a little stutter before that free kick, sends it long from the penalty spot. Headed away powerfully by Max Hunt. Back forward by King Harms. Adam Lund heads it up into the air. Contests it himself once again. Won it both times, and eventually Jake Day heads it forward himself. Looking for Liam Waldock, and it's eventually cleared out by centre-back Jesse Bavaganga. Out for an Alfreton Town throw. The new ball tossed into play. Not sure they'll need it, but...
And look who's back.
Right, something's going on here.
No, I clocked.
Did she go and get one from a ball
I
back?
clocked about a couple weeks ago. She doesn't actually go get the ball. She has a bag. Whenever one goes out of the ground, she just throws another one on.
I can't believe we've been conned this whole time. Well, Adam Lund looks to make his name, throwing the ball into the box. Oh, what is that? Lewis Salmon felt as he'd won a foul. Body's going down in the box. Eventually the ball comes back forward. There's still a Rushall man down on the right-hand side. And the referee now does stop the play.
He's getting up.
I thought we were going to have another one of those situations where we just watch one of the Rushall players sit down and the referee is happy to watch that happen until the physio takes action, but the referee blows his whistle to stop the play just as Rushall claimed the ball from that cross in. So it will be a drop ball for the Picts in the end. No. And I think the physio for Rushall is gesturing that a substitution is going to be required. A think it's the number 2, Callum King-Harmers, who's gone down on that right-hand side. He is back onto his feet, but looks reluctant to put any weight on it. And he's kind of hobbling off very slowly. Rushall going to be forced into a change by the looks of things, because he's kind of been tasked with locking down Sam Osborne, which is no easy task, but he's done so very well this afternoon. And Alfreton are going to respond to that with a substitution. Jed Abbey is stripped and ready to come on. The man recently overtaken in the goal-scoring charts by Liam Waldock. The pair of them now set to come off the bench. And it's Lewis Salmon withdrawn in place of Jed Abbey for Alfreton, making their second change of the afternoon very early in the second half. Not something that we usually see from Billy Heath. But nonetheless, Jed Abbey takes to the field once play's back underway. Once Rushall have made their substitution, their first one of the afternoon, it's the number 5, Joseph Hill, to come on in place of Callum King-Harmers, who's forced off injured.
Just say as well, Jed Abbey, he's rocking a new pair of boots, and they're pretty clean. They're a pretty clean pair of boots.
Very, very low socks though still. There cannot be any shin pads in there.
He's just folded the sock over and hope that is enough cushion.
Well, play is back underway with a drop ball. Scott Maloney sends that one forward. Headed away by Alfreton. Osborne tries to get it a little bit further away. Max Hunt does the same. It's going to run straight through. And Joseph Hill straight into the action with a clearance. Up the line. Nathan Newell responds with one of his own, but picked up by the wind pretty heavily as it ramps up. Jed Abbey, he's going to get a chance to have his say on the game in the early stages. Does he know the ball's going to run out of play before he can manage to get there? Out for a Rushall Olympic throw on that left-hand side, kind of beneath the gantry again in that blind spot where the ball just seems to be going for a ridiculous amount today. Rushall send the ball down the line through McAlinden. Hunt heads it forward. Abbey does the same. Forward up by Fletcher. Bit of possession tennis in the midfield. Cantrell goes down under the challenge from Jack Thomas. Wins that free kick just inside the centre circle. I think it's Joseph Hull, actually, the name of the player that's come on. Couldn't quite tell with the handwriting on the team sheet, but just checked the Rushall graphic. It's Hull, not Hill, so apologies. But Alfreton will have a free kick just beyond the centre circle. Sam Osborne standing over it. Claxton is on the right-hand side in a bit of space. I think he's asked him for the ball, but Osborne ignores him completely. And it goes from Osborne towards Solademi, cleared away by Rushall, brought down by Osborne and surrendered very cheaply. And Rushall looked to come away quickly on the break here. Picked up.
Bless him. The wind's just taking it away from him.
Sebastian Thomas looked for all the worlds to kind of have latched onto that long ball, but the wind, as you can probably hear through our headsets, has picked up big time over the last couple of minutes. And it's just picked up the football and thrown it out of play, essentially. Seb Thompson not going to be happy about that at all, but Alfreton with a bit of a let-off.
Oh!
That one's not far away from the gantry.
It's just over. Oh! That's
nearly taken the backspin's taken it through the pedestrian entrance as well, but...
Ready? Now this is where you'll see what I've been seeing, right?
Go on.
Pam has a chair, and she stands up once she's got the ball and comes in, and every time I've been going...
I can't believe it. Look,
there
she's come up with a fraud. It's a fraud.
She comes with the ball. She never goes and gets them.
That's actually broken my heart. This is the worst day ever. I can't believe it. Well,
the ball gone. And every time she stands up to get with the ball, I go, look, there she is going back with it.
This is the worst news I've heard all day. And Alfreton are 1-0 down.
I can't believe it. A ball has just actually gone into the park, and there's loads of like teenage children there, and not one of them has made a beeline for that ball.
It's woke, mate.
If that was me as a teenager, and the ball comes out of a football ground and it's there.
Absolute result.
That is my ball now. I'm keeping it.
Obviously. Well, we've had in the midst of my emotional breakdown, finding out that Pam doesn't actually go and get every ball.
And come back just as another one goes.
All you've missed is a succession of throw-ins. Rushall eventually do get the ball under their control on the right-hand side with Theo Williams, drops it back to Fletcher. Fletcher still has it. Plays a couple of 1-2s with teammates, and eventually Osborne makes a challenge, but it's Hull, the substitute, opts to drop it back to his goalkeeper, Maloney. Now Cameron shifts it across to McAlinden on the left-hand side of the defence. Jed Abbey shields it, but eventually the pass does find Thompson. McAlinden. Nice bit of play from Rushall here as Samuels manages to keep the ball as well. Fletcher drops it back to Cameron. Across to Joseph Hull. Carries it forward slightly, lays it out to Jesse Bavanga, and he thinks he's won a foul.
Oh, referee, you cannot do that!
The referee, that is terrible. He's not given the foul after Sam Osborne won the ball, and then George Cantrell bursts through in behind the defence, and only then has he given the free kick. He wasn't going to give it if Alfreton didn't break through. I mean, that is just kind of... We've seen a couple of those refereeing cliches. I mentioned in the first half, the classic. It has to be more of a foul in the box for it to be a penalty, and that's one of those there. If Alfreton don't break clean through off the back of that, he's not giving that free kick. But Rushall do take that free kick. Look to switch it over to the left-hand side. Claxton forced to head it out for a throw-in. But Alfreton fairly fair to feel aggrieved by that decision from the referee. Matty looks to get that advanced viewpoint, which
I'm trying to see if anyone's nicked this ball yet.
Which also blocks mine, but I'll lean around him to see what happens from this throw-in. McAlinden has gone forward to take it for Rushall on the left-hand side. Plays it into Thompson. Claxton with a tackle though. Across to Jed Abbey. Goes beyond both Cameron and Day, and eventually Rushall just hacked that one forward. Straight into the gloves of George Sykes-Kenworthy, the York City loanee.
None of the kids have gone and got that ball.
Should we go and get it?
I can't believe it. There's another one down there as well. Should I go see if that's still there?
Have a look. Sends it long. Headed away by Hunt. It's going to make its way all the way through to Sam Osborne on that left-hand side. Evades a couple of challenges before bringing it into the midfield. Still with Osborne. Pokes it to Cantrell, or tries to, but is dispossessed. And Seb Thompson lays it across to Bavanga. Nathaniel with the interception though. Here's Waldock. Has time and space in the midfield to pick a pass and doesn't do so. Bit sloppy from Waldock as Seb Thompson's happy to pick that one off. Tries to send it through for Theo Williams. Bounces out off of his head for an Alfreton throw. Did you say it's gone?
Yeah, in better news, there's a group of 3 kids who have taken the ball and are now playing with it.
Good on them.
So there's one down there untouched and one down there which has been taken. There's also a shopping trolley.
Just a course, because that would be there.
A rogue shopping trolley.
Well, Alfreton do take the throw down the line through Adam Bland, but Rushall win it back. Here's McAlinden as it's shifted over to the left-hand side, advancing into the Alfreton half now. Tries to find Samuels in field. Challenge comes in from Max Hunt and concedes the throw-in. And there will be a second change for Rushall Olympic. It's number 11, Danny King, who's going to come on in place of Theo Williams.
Final 20 now.
Yeah, not too long to go. Not too long to go in this one as Alfreton still trail by a goal to 0. Courtesy of that Austin Samuels penalty in the first half. Rushall will have another throw-in to take. It'll be McAlinden again. Seems to be the man with the duties when it's on the left-hand side at least. Referee now does blow his whistle to get things back underway. McAlinden takes his time before picking out where to chuck it. He's walked onto the pitch.
Any danger, referee?
Before taking that throw-in. And
he's halfway on the pitch and it was a foul throw.
It's been allowed to be taken into the feet of Samuels, who wins another throw-in for Rushall. Here's McAlinden again. Will he stay behind the white line this time?
His foot is on the line. He's edging onto the pitch.
I think that's fine.
He might genuinely have the worst throwing technique I have ever seen.
He's just a makeshift left back today though, so as the fullback you kind of have to be. You've got to have that throw-in in your locker. I don't think he does. But Claxton, one that kind of does, sent down the line well towards the path of Jake Day, but Joseph Hull, the first of the Rushall substitutes, picks that one off. Goes back to his goalkeeper Maloney, who looks to find Samuels, headed away by Hunt. Jake Day with a flick on.
See, Osborne doesn't put his hands up.
I know. but that time he's got away with it. Osborne was in an offside position but ignored the ball. It's a poor clearance from Maloney. Jed Abbey picks that one off himself. Plays it off to Claxton, who tries the switch of the play over to Osborne. Hunt sees his clearance blocked down by Samuels. Someone's got to give him a shout there. And eventually knocked down the line by Fletcher. I think he wants the throw-in off Claxton. But Claxton wins the throw-in off of him instead. Good work from the right back. He is going to take that throw-in himself quickly. Jake Day makes his way over. He's going to bounce over the head of Waldock. Rushall looks to clear their lines with McAlinden. Cameron goes across to what was his centre-back partner, Jesse Bavanga, but he's now filling in at right back. Following that spell of substitutions, Rushall looked to find their way down the line and then into the box, but the cross is blocked by Newell. Out for a corner. The referee drops down to tie his shoelace again. It's the second time they've come undone. Had all of half time to double knot him, but he's...
Someone's not tying out to tie his laces properly.
Yeah, he's still on the bunny ears. There will be a Rushall Olympic corner on that right-hand side. Cyrus Kenworthy forced to go and get the ball himself. And it's the number 7, Sebastian Thompson, who will be taking it from that right-hand side. Osborne staying forward on the halfway line for Alfreton. Waldock makes his way up too, but every other red shirt back to defend. Rushall goes short with the corner. Thompson tries to find Fletcher on the edge of the box, but Waldock comes back with him. Does well to defend, gets his body in front of the man between him and the ball. Wins the free kick on the edge of the box.
Oh, who's getting ready? Is it Dwayne?
I think it is, yeah. It'll be Dwayne Wiley who's getting prepared to come on here for Alfreton in what would be their third change. Sykes Kenworthy stands over this free kick, won by Waldock. Eventually taken on the edge of the box, tries to play over to the left-hand side. Osborne does his best to keep it in play, but unable to do so. Straight out for a Rushall throw between the two dugouts near the halfway line. I think the referee blows to allow the substitution to take place. Osborne seemed to know it was him that was coming off, but I think he's, got called back by the fourth official momentarily, but Dwayne Wiley introduced in place of Sam Osborne, which would indicate a switch up of shape. And Alfreton might be going to something of a back three with Solidemi, Wiley and Hunt. Wiley at the base of it, Ewell and Claxton on either side as the kind of wing backs. Adam Lund, Abbey and Cantrell kind of making up that midfield diamond with Waldock as well, and then Jake Day up there perhaps. We'll try and work it out as the play continues. Although unhelpfully, Jake Day has just caught himself and started hobbling, and Max Hunt gets tries to put in a challenge on Thompson, who evaded it initially but then stumbled in the aftermath, but gets up to keep possession. Here's McAlinden, tries to play it infield to Samuels. Cantrell was there to intercept, and his clearance up the line allows Waldock to chase, and he barrels into it. Does win possession but doesn't win it in the end on the header. Straight out for a Rushall throw though. And Liam McAlinden prepares to take the throw in just beneath the gantry on the left-hand side for Rushall Olympic. Inside their own half. Matty can talk us through it. Down the line it goes.
He threw the ball.
He threw the ball. Headed away by Max Hunt. Makes his way towards the halfway line. Waldock tries to knock it infield towards Day. He then just tries to hit that area where Nathan Newell bombs on from the back in his new wing-back role. Tries to get beyond his man before getting the cross in. Does get that left-footed cross towards the back post. And I think it's going to have bounced out. Alfreton want the corner.
Never a corner.
But yeah, I don't think there was too much contest there. McAlinden and Claxton challenged for it, but it will be a goal kick for Rushall. Scott Maloney places the ball down on the edge of his 6-yard box. Not too much longer for Rushall to have to hang on for what would be an all-important 3 points to keep their survival ambitions alive, and they are readying a third substitute in Luke Benbow. Eventually the goal kick does come forward from Maloney, headed away by Wiley with his first introduction to the fixture. McAlinden brings it down and clears. Flicked around the corner towards Samuels, and nodded out for a Rushall throw by Dwayne Wiley. On the left-hand side for Rushall, McAlinden makes his way forward to take. We'll see if he encroaches on the pitch this time. That he will be on lino watch. You can't see it, but he's actually peering over the edge of the gantry. Like a hawk. All good?
Yeah, he was on. He's behind the line. He still has the worst throwing technique ever.
Well, McAlinden gets the all clear from Matthias Rushall, make their way into the centre of the box and eventually all the way over to the right-hand side where Jack Thomas picks it up from Austin Samuels, goes back to Jesse Bavanga, but he's forced all the way back to sort of halfway line area, but still with Rushall as Samuels looks to find a bit of space, but Solademi is there to tackle. And Max Hunt with the clearance up towards Jake Day, does well to flick it on, but Cameron happy to knock it back to his goalkeeper. Not too much on it though. For a moment, Liam Waldock might have felt he could have got something on that, but Maloney's clearance goes all the way through for an Alfreton throw on that left-hand side, and there's going to be, another stoppage in play as Rushall make a double sub. So their third and fourth, and it is Luke Bembo to come on in place of the number 9 and the goal scorer of that penalty in the first half, Austin Samuels. And the fourth substitute, I think, is Aaron Ford. Haven't seen the number yet, but it looks like him. I think I remember him from the reverse fixture this season. Samuels makes his way off.
Oh, don't talk to me about that reverse fixture.
Yeah, the reverse fixture where we intended to do the commentary but were unable to do so because there's no signal in any of Rushall apparently.
Yeah, because Rushall is genuinely a wasteland in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it is Roddy McGlinchey, the other man withdrawn in this double sub in place of the number 15 Aaron Ford. So 4 of the 5 changes used so far for Rushall. Only Louis Hall left on his own on the bench as the man yet to come on. But Alfreton send the ball down the line themselves through Solademi as we are back underway. Jack Thomas with the clearance. He's going to run straight through for Dwayne Wiley as Luke Benbow wants to make an impact straight away, and Sykes Kenworthy eventually clears it himself. Solademi tries to hook it further away. Here is Benbow, lays it off for Thomas in a bit of space, but can't quite make it stick. Solademi with the clearance, headed away by Rushall. Kept in play. Back forward up the line by Bavanga. Solademi with the headed clearance, gets it back from Adam London, eventually drills it up the line towards Jake Day. Tries to bring it down, I think he's felt a clip on the ankles, and the referee agrees it will be a free kick for Alfreton. Just inside the Rushall Olympic half. Nathan Newell looks to be the one to be standing over it and taking it. Solademi, Hunt and Wiley all heading forward. When you move out of that little bit, I just
didn't realise I've been giving everyone an flashback. I'm sorry for anyone suffering with epilepsy.
Well, Nathan Newell delivers this free kick towards the back post. Hunt tries to knock it back across, but Fletcher is there to clear towards Benbow. Lets it bounce. Claxton nods it back to Newell. Goes all the way back to his keeper. Sykes Kenworthy takes his time on it. He's not pressured by anybody just yet, so he's got time to pick out a pass. Hunt makes his way back to the back line. Sykes Kenworthy picks out Day, chests it down towards Jed Abbey. Cameron came across to block it, but it will be an Alfreton throw, and you know he's going to take it. Adam Lund prepares the throw in on this right hand side, just beneath that kind of corner of the gantry. Newell and Claxton, the only men back for Alfreton. In it comes from Adam Lund towards Wiley, headed away by Rushall, but back out to Adam Lund, who I think is happy to see it. But Rushall want the throw in, and they are going to get it. There's a mistake from Adam Lund, thinking he was going to get the throw in again. But Rushall happy that the decision goes their way. McAlinden looked like he wasn't too bothered about pressing Adam Lund as well, because he felt it was a certainty that they were going to get that throw. McAlinden will take the throw. Comes down the line. Flicked on by Benbow. Dwayne Wiley. Easy to receive that one though. Goes back to his keeper. Now Solademi nearly falls over the ball before letting it back to his keeper. Sykes Kenworthy goes long towards Waldock. Headed away by Hull. Cantrell thought about chasing it. Adam Lund eventually as well to keep it in play. Nathan Newell, a couple of kick-ups before sending it up the line towards Jake Day. And Rushall get the decision then. There's the substitute, Joseph Hull, challenged Jake Day and Liam Waldock for that ball. It will be a free kick for the visitors inside their own half. I'm going to check up on the Radcliffe score again, if I can give you a top line at the end of the game.
Top line.
Yeah, I know. Rushall, as we mentioned in the pre-match, cannot be mathematically relegated today no matter what happens, and as it stands will be giving themselves something of a chance as they'll move up into 21st Radcliffe still drawing 0-0 with Scunthorpe at the moment, so that would put Rushall just 7 points behind Radcliffe with 4 games to play. So giving themselves a slightly better chance, but in their position any chance is good enough, you'd imagine, as long as they can keep themselves in the mix. And if they're still in it at the final day, who knows what may happen. Sykes Kenworthy prepares to take a goal kick of his own. Comes forward in search of Day, flicked on well by the number 9. Jed Abbey was trying to wrestle his way into the box, but the ball bounces straight through for Scott Maloney, who will take as long as he likes before distributing this one. Drops it down onto the ground before sending it long in search of Benbow. Does get something on it ahead of Solademi. Brings it down for himself as well. Eventually lays it off towards Thompson. He's got McAlinden on the overlap. Looks to go back inside though for Aaron Ford. Josh Claxton with the interception though, and it's going to bounce out for a Rushall throw on this left-hand side for McAlinden to take.
He's actually...
Yeah. McAlinden with probably his 3rd foul throw of the game. Looks to cross it into the box though after he gets it back from Fletcher, but into the gloves of Sykes Kenworthy.
My niece can take a better throwing than McAlinden. She started school this year.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's not even a case of they're not finding the target because they are. It's just the fact that he's walking onto the pitch. Sykes Kenworthy sends the ball long in search of Day. Eventually going to drop back to him, but I think Jed Abbey, the one there to adjudge to have been offside, off the back of that kind of flick on. So it will be a Rushall free kick inside their own half, a chance for them to just kind of keep the momentum out of the game, just making sure that there is absolutely no momentum, so there's no pendulum to swing, I suppose.
About, what, we reckon 10 minutes left on the clock?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Thank God it's freezing.
Maloney looks to go long, headed away by Wiley. Lund can't get the clearance further away though. Waldock can. Wiley again forced to clear with his head. Jake Day trying to flick it on. Works his way back to the Rushall keeper, Maloney. Strong clearance. Headed away by Newell, but not really getting too much of a clearance on it in the end. Rushall trying to make their way into the box. It will find its path towards Sebastian Thompson, but Max Hunt steps in to make the clearance. Aaron Ford tries to hook it back around the corner, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Genuinely think I could sit down and not miss it in this game.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's so flat.
Yeah, but I suppose we mentioned it in the first half. That's what the visitors are going to be looking to do. Now they're in that winning position. If they can come out here, it's win by any means necessary. And you'd completely understand it. If Alfreton were in that position, you'd be wanting them to do the same. Sykes Kenworthy will have a goal kick to take. Sends it long in Hunt, as ever, of Jake Day. Headed away by Hull, back forward by Wiley. McAlinden.
Here we go, right.
Looks to see
watch.
it out. Matty takes his position on fraud watch to see the McAlinden throw. You can talk us through it because I can't see it.
Right, the starting position's good. He's far back from that line. He comes. He's on the pitch. His right foot is on the pitch when he's taking that throw in. Oh, they're going to score from it.
Have a chance to break. Oh, make it 2-0. But Nathan Yord eventually does well to defend Danny King.
You can't take a throw in.
Kind of worked its way straight through to King off the back of that, but Nathan Yule stood his man well and eventually blocked the shot. The kind of ricochet took it out for a corner though. And we are going to see a 4th substitution for Alfreton, and it is going to be Jake Day. Oh no, is it going to be Jake Day or is he just staying here for the corner? No, it is going to be Jake Day withdrawn in place of Luke Mattison, which is an interesting substitution. Perhaps moving Jed Abbey up front, or Alfreton are we going strikerless? Is this a new Billy Heath tactical wave?
Someone check on Billy Heath.
Yeah, as Rushall prepare this corner, it's Thompson from the right-hand side, delivered towards the back post. Evades everybody though. Straight out for an Alfreton throw. I think Mattison Picks the ball up. I think this might mean... I mean, I'm trying to work it out, because Abbey is now kind of stood up front.
Jake up top, Matheson's going to come on the right.
There's now 6 defenders on the pitch when Alfreton are behind. But yeah, I think Matheson is just going to kind of take that position on the wing. And Max Hunt, or no, is it? I think it's a back three. Solidemi, Wiley and Claxton. Matheson and Newell the wing backs. And Max Hunt's just been plonked up front alongside Jed Abbey. That looks to be what's happening. I mean, we saw Ruben Amorim bring on Harry Maguire up front against Nottingham Forest the other night. So perhaps Billy Heath has taken some leaves out of I mean, it's not a new thing, sending a centre-half up when you're losing. But there we go. Max Hunt, is he the answer to Alfreton Town's number 9 questions? They will have a throw in here. Adam Lund on the left-hand side prepares to take it. Max Hunt will obviously be in there. In it comes towards Wiley. Headed up, but not necessarily away. Flicked on by Solidemi that time. McAlinden able to get the clearance in for Rushall. Claxton tries to head it beyond Bembo, but he's got plenty of time to bring that one down. Back heels it, lays it off to Thompson. Comes back to McAlinden, goes up the line himself towards Cantrell, who's got time to bring it down and send it up the line. Cleared away by Hull towards Bembo. And I think we could have run onto that. And
he looks like a fan that's won a competition.
Nathan Cameron has made it known to Luke Bembo, who only came on about 5 minutes ago, that you could have very easily run for that ball, but he opted not to. And I think we're going to see now another substitution, the final one for Rushall, as Louis Hall, the only man left to come off the bench. Seb Thompson is going to be the man withdrawn as he kind of went down with a bit of cramp. And the referee makes him go off the pitch. He doesn't want to go off. Aaron Ford demanding his own player to get off the pitch. Adam Lund asked to step away. I was going to say, I don't know if Seb Thompson actually knows that he's been subbed off, but Louis Hall is now entered the fray.
He's figured it out. He's figured it out.
Seb Thompson, I think, thought he was just buying some time by laying down on the ground.
Am I off?
Yeah. Sebastian Thompson seemed to be the only man unaware that he'd been subbed off in the ground, but Louis Hall getting straight into the mix of things. The headed clearance from that throw-in. Claxton tries to send it back forward, flicked on by Hunt. Matheson tries to do the same. Cantrell wrestles there beyond Louis Hall.
Oh, any danger.
And Louis Hall does well in his first kind of introduction to the game to drop down to the ground and win a free kick for the away side as they look to kill the clock in the later stages here. And it's going to be Scott Maloney to take this free kick deep inside the Rushall half on that left-hand side. Rushall now used all of their substitutes and still have the one that they could use in the Canadian Richard Lapointe. Or Richie, I should say.
Nah, drop the full one. Drop the full one. What was it?
Well, the double barrel.
Richard Miguel Lapointe Guevara.
I'll be surprised if we don't see him
we'll shorten it. We'll stick Richie. We can't be doing that.
We'll call him
every
Richie.
time.
We'll call him Richie. That's true.
Billy Heath has cooked something up in a dream.
He has, and we're watching it unfold. Max Hunt up front, Claxton in a back three. I'm here for it. Forward it comes towards Max Hunt, does flick it on, looking for Abbey, and I don't know if McAlinden knew that Luke Matheson was there as he looked to clear it, but it's going to bounce out for an Alfreton Town throw. Adam Lund gets the ball as quickly as he can before lining it up. David Solidemi and Dwayne Wiley said to head forward into the Rushall box. And it goes towards Max Hunt, flicked on by a Rushall man. It's bobbling around in the area. Walden gets the shot in, and it's into the back of the net. Alfreton Town find an equaliser, and it's been coming. Finally, the Reds with a route back into the game, levelling the scores. It's a sucker punch for Rushall, who clung onto that 1-0 lead for a long, long time. But Alfreton finally, with the equaliser, Liam Waldock scored the winner against Leamington to get the first win at the Impact in 2025. Has he just scored the goal to turn a game around to get the second? But there's an Impact off the bench from Liam Waldock, kind of got into the box, was just there to gamble. That's all he had to do, he gambled. The throw-in from Adam Lund, flicked on by a Rushall player, I think. and then it was just a crowd of bodies in the box. Waldock reacted quickest, prodded it into the back of the net, across goal, right-footed from inside the 6-yard box. Too quick for Scott Maloney to get down and do something about it. And Alfreton Town finally have that level up that they've been looking for.
Yeah, it's a fantastic strike from Waldock, because it's a bit of a snapshot. He's not facing the goal. He's hitting it on the 180 on the swivel on that half volley as well, and it just finds its way through the crowd and into the bottom corner. And it's one of them. I think this game has shown next to no life, and I think that is to do with the fact that we are playing for nothing. But it is nice, you know, the fans are still coming, and you've got to play for them, and to give them a goal and a result at the end of the day is always the most important thing. And I think it's been a case of maybe it doesn't matter too much, that's why the atmosphere is flat, but nice to see a goal. And once again, Waldock, you know, furthers himself at the top of the goal scoring charts as Max Hunt has his first attempt at goal from up front, which nearly left the ground. Yeah,
Max Hunt's striker audition hasn't got off to the best of starts. He's won a few flick-ons, which I suppose is all he's been put up there to do. But yeah, his first shot on goal there, sailing over the crossbar, kept in the ground just about, but out for a goal kick for Rushall. Maloney sends it long himself. It's be interesting to see if Rushall now throw everything at it for all 3 points.
Philly Heath, we're sorry for wondering why you've put 18 defenders on the pitch.
We have to say that the new system has its first goal already. Back three, something that we got used to last season at times. Not with your 4 defenders or 6 defenders on the pitch, 2 of them being up front, but it's worked out so far. Adam Lund with a throw-in from the left-hand side on the halfway line. Sends it up towards Max Hunt, who's in the area. Flicked on by a Rushall head. That should be a corner, and it is.
Here we go.
Alfreton Town now up for it in the final few minutes here of normal time.
Look at him with the drum. It's a little kid.
We got the drummer behind that goal in the open terrace.
This is his birthday present.
Making the noise. Liam Waldock set to take the corner in Sam Osborne's absence. One arm in the air from Waldock. Alfreton Town gambling bodies forward. Rushall with every single player inside the 6-yard box. In it comes from Waldock towards the near post. Flick on, unable to be directed goalwards, and eventually it's Jack Thomas that can get things cleared for the picks. Josh Claxton has loads of time on his own before picking out the direct pass across to Hunt. Wiley's there as well. He'll flick it on. Matteson misjudged the flight of the ball just slightly. Louis Hall plays it into McAlinden. Good touch from him initially, and eventually gets the clearance up the line towards Jack Thomas. Plays it into the feet of Aaron Ford, who looks to bring Rushall up the pitch a little bit. 4 minutes of added time indicated by the 4th official. Oh! Aaron Ford manages to find Louis Hall thanks to a poor pass, but Alfreton Town not quick enough to pounce on it. Still with Rushall. Fletcher out to McAlinden on the left-hand side. Tries to get beyond Cantrell. Goes down.
Ref, that's obstruction!
Yeah, he's standing on the ball. I don't know why the referee isn't.
There we go.
Eventually does. It's the oldest rule in the book. If you drop on the ball after you think you've won a foul and it's not a foul, it goes the other way, and he's essentially crouched on top of the football for about 5 seconds before the referee's blown his whistle. Liam McAlinden, but eventually we hear the little whistle from the referee. Alfreton Town will have the free kick from just outside, or to the right-hand side of their own box for Sykes Kenworthy to take, and they'll have just under 4 minutes of additional time to look for the winner. As will Rushall, I'm sure, as they know how much 3 points can mean for them at this stage of the season. Forward it comes from Sykes Kenworthy, up towards Max Hunt, beaten to it by Cameron. Wiley looks to clear it. Newell does the same. It's going to drop back for Wiley in the midfield. Tries to find Matteson.
So far offside.
Flicks it through to Abbey, who is about 2 yards offside. Doesn't need to be there. But Rushall with a free kick, sorry, themselves. Inside their own half. I think they've got to gamble the bodies forward now. Joe Hull, one of the centre halves, makes his way up there. Max Hunt staying forward. Forward it comes from Maloney. Picked up by the wind big time. Solidemi does win the header. Waldock tries to send that one up the line, cleared away by Rushall, but only as far as Matteson, who chests it down.
Oh, Luke Matheson, take a bow.
Silky feet from the Bolton Wanderers low knee. Gets it beyond Joseph Hull and then buys the foul as well. So a chance for Alfreton to send it forward with a couple of minutes of injury time left. Can they sneak a winner here? after what's been not a fantastic game of football. Would be a nice way to cap things off. Liam Waldock stands over the free kick, as does Josh Claxton. Waldock raises one arm in the air. Solodemi darts over to the left-hand side. Cantrell forced to flick it on. Wiley does the same into the area. Cantrell again, Cameron with the clearance. Matteson passes the man on to Adam London. It's going to roll out for an Alfreton Town throw. Not long left at all. And this could well be the last chance of the last game. And I think we're seeing Alex Fletcher for Rushall asking the referee in simple terms, where is he going? Again, Adam Lund, he knows what he's doing. Takes the throw in towards the area. Drops to the edge. Jack Thomas tries to control it and get Rushall up the pitch. McAlinden picks it up himself, tries to hook it clear on his left foot, but it's straight out of the ground and out for another Alfreton throw. That went out of play quite early, so Claxton is going to be the one to take it near the halfway line. Fletcher still unhappy with where the Alfreton players are going from these throws. The referee's uninterested. Claxton launches that one down the line in search of Matteson.
Probably heard him launch it down the line.
I was going to say, yeah. And it's going to actually break for Jed Abbey, who's pinched it. Tries to cross it into the box on his right foot, blocked. Not going to bounce out of play. And eventually Rushall clear their lines and a free kick given to Rushall. Quentin's nearly bounced over the VO. Nearly ruined Rushall's footage there. But it's going to be a free kick for Rushall inside their own half. Scott Maloney forced backwards a little bit to take it. This is probably going to be the last action of the game, which is indicated by Max Huntersville rejoining the back line to defend this free kick. If Rushall are to win it, it's going to have to be now. Maloney sends it forward. There's not even going to be time for that. The referee blows his whistle. A little bit of a flat atmosphere at the Impact today, as Alfreton obviously secured their league status earlier in the week, and Rushall came battling for that win to keep their survival hopes alive. And they are still alive. They are not mathematically relegated just yet, and they are 1 point closer to Needham Market, but still some distance away from Radcliffe in 20th place. So Alfreton Town come away in the end with a 1-1 draw. Liam Waldock with a late goal, which puts a slightly more positive spin on the fixture as a whole, but nice to see him come back into the side, getting a goal, extending his lead at the top of the goal scoring charts. And a response was eventually found off the back of that first half setback. Matty, what are your thoughts on the game?
It's definitely a dagger for Rushall. I mean, you come to a place away from home, you go on a look, you can see some animated people having a bit of an argument there. A couple of the Rushall players about the game, and obviously they've had to come here, and it's probably at that time of the season now where they need anything. They can't, you know, they need any win they can get. They can't come and draw anymore. You know, they can't look at draws with a positive note, especially when you're 1-0 up the whole game. Sort of concede that dagger with about 2 minutes left on the clock. 2 points disappear from, you know, within their reach, in their grasp. They had a hold of a win. It's going to be a real kind of sinker for them, which I think is why it's so flat at the end of this game. You know, there was next to no emotion from any player at the full-time whistle, other than a couple of Rushall players disagreeing with a couple of things that did happen out there. But from an Alfreton standpoint, you can't complain. I don't think you saw a lack of effort. I think in terms of, you know, players kind of showing a lot of emotion on the pitch, you obviously are never going to get, because they're not playing for anything. They are just playing so the fans have a game of football to watch, and they try and give them goals. And you know, we fought to the end and we got that equaliser, so you can't complain at all there. But definitely not a match to remember in our final time commentating at the Impact. Yeah, a bittersweet moment as we close off for the final time here in the Gantry. We will have one more watch along at Radcliffe away for the final swan song as me and Vaughan depart our Alfreton adventure. Yeah, as our university adventure comes to an end. But thank you all for tuning in once again. It's been absolutely freezing this afternoon in this wind tunnel we had to commentate in. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the final day of the season. And yeah, ciao for now.